السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. من البوابة الليبية للتعليم الإلكتروني أقدم لكم مادة اللغة الإنجليزية للسنة الثالثة ثانوي قسم العلمي English for Secondary 3 Scientific Section. Instructions: sit in a quiet place, bring your coursebook and workbook, don't open camera and mic, if you want to speak raise your hand, don't leave the lecture before it's finished, and be on time. Unit 1, Health Matters. Lesson 4, A Man-Made Killer. Lesson 4, A Man-Made Killer. What do we mean by a man-made killer؟ اللي هو قاتل من صنع البشر. Man-made يعني صنع البشر. And our topic is smoking. هنتكلموا عليه smoking as a man-made killer. We have statistics 8 points and we have to complete these statistics with the number which is given in the box. عندنا إحصائيات وحنكملوا النقاط بالأرقام اللي عندنا في البوكس. The first one, every year around 114,000 smokers in the United Kingdom die from their habit. That's about 300 people every day. يعني الإحصائية تقول 114,000 حوالي 114,000 مدخن يموتوا من عادة التدخين في اليونايتد كينجدوم اللي هو في المملكة المتحدة. كل الإحصائيات على اليونايتد كينجدوم اللي حنقروهن 8 نقاط. and die from their habit. That's about بمعدل 300 شخص يوميا. The second point, smoking in Britain is highest in the 20 to 24 age group. يعني التدخين في بريطانيا أكثر في الفئة العمرية بين 20 وال 24 سنة. The third one, it's illegal to sell cigarettes to children under the age of 18. يعني غير قانوني بيع السجائر للأطفال دون سن 18. Yet 20% of Britain's 15-year-olds are regular smokers. يعني حاليا البريطانيين الفئة العمرية من الفئة 15 هم الأكثر مدخنين. The next one, more than 80% of smokers take up the habit when they are teenagers. يعني أكثر من 80% من المدخنين in Britain also take up the habit يعني خذوا العادة التدخين when they are يعني في عمر المراهقة أو المراهقة. The next one, people who smoke a packet of cigarettes a day die on average 7 years earlier than people who have never smoked. يعني الأشخاص اللي يدخنوا في packet of cigarette يموتوا أبكر ب7 سنوات من الأشخاص الغير مدخنين. Next one, every day in the United Kingdom, approximately 450 young people under the age of 18 start smoking. يوميا في الولايات المتحدة أو في المملكة المتحدة حوالي 450 شخص من فئة اليونغ under the age of 18 أقل من عمر 18 سنة يبدو في التدخين. The next point, the British government currently spends around 30 million a year on anti-smoking education campaigns. A further 41 million pounds is spent on measures to help people give up smoking. يعني الحكومة البريطانية تصرف حوالي 30 مليون باوند اللي هو الجنيه الاسترليني a year on anti-smoking education campaigns اللي هو في حملات توعية ضد التدخين. and further وأكثر من 41 مليون تصرف في مساعدة الناس في to give up smoking، يعني إنها تساعدها إنها توقف التدخين. And the last point, more people in Britain die from smoking than from road accidents, poisoning and AIDS. يعني أغلب الأشخاص يموتوا من التدخين أكثر من الحوادث والتسمم and AIDS ومرض الإيدز. And also we have the abbreviation of AIDS. The abbreviation of AIDS, Acquired Immunity Deficiency Syndrome. Acquired Immunity Deficiency Syndrome. An illness which destroys the body's ability to resist infection. اللي هو مرض فقدان المناعة المكتسبة. عافانا الله وإياكم. In workbook page 12, we have in section A, write questions based on the text for the following answers. We have answers and you have to write questions for these answers. Number 1, in which age group is smoking highest? The answer is it's highest in the 20 to 24 age group. حددنا الفئة العمرية اللي يكتر فيها نسبة التدخين اللي هو بين 20 وال 24. So the question is, in which age group is smoking highest? Number 2, at what age is it legal to sell cigarettes to children? The answer is at 18. And in statistics, they said that it's illegal to sell cigarettes to children under 18. So at 18 age, it's legal to sell cigarettes. يعني أعطانا الفئة العمرية قبلها غير قانوني بيع السيجارة للفئة العمرية. Okay, so the question is, at what age is it legal to sell cigarettes to children? Number 3, when do most people start smoking? When do most people start smoking? When, the answer is when they are teenagers. يعني بداية التدخين هنا الإحصائيات تقول إن البداية في فترة المراهقة. The next, number 4, how much earlier do smokers die than non-smokers? And they explain the non-smokers means الغير مدخنين تعني people who have never smoked. The answer, they die 7 years earlier on average. They die 7 years earlier on average. The next one, how many people under the age of 18 start smoking every day? The number of people under the age of 18 who start smoking every day. The answer is around 450 a day. The number of people, and here the duration a day. The last one, how much does the British government spend a year on anti-smoking education campaigns? يعني هنا كم تصرف الحكومة على حملات التوعية ضد التدخين؟ Around 30 million pounds a year. And go back to your course book, page 12. We have vocabulary tip, phrasal verbs. What do we mean by phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are formed when a preposition, for example, up, down, off, is added to a verb and creates a new verb. For example, pick up or give up. يعني هنا عندنا phrasal verb اللي هو الفعل المركب أو الفعل التعبيري يصاغ من إضافة حرف الجر إلى الفعل. preposition اللي هو حرف الجر up, down, off يضاف إلى فعل verb to create a new verb يعني ليكون فعل جديد. Sometimes the new verb has a similar meaning but sometimes it's very different. يعني أحيانا الفعل اللي كونه phrasal verb بإضافة preposition إلى الفعل أحيانا يكون ليه نفس معنى الفعل separate يعني نفس معنى الفعل بدون إضافة. أحيانا يكون فعل معنى مخالف أو معنى جديد. For example here I pick you up at 7:30. Here fairly similar to the verb pick. يعني pick up as a phrasal verb نفس معنى الفعل بدون إضافة الحرف الجر pick اللي هو بمعنى يأخذ أو سأخذك في تمام الساعة 7:30. The same as pick up. In the second example, he gave up smoking when he got ill. Here very different meaning from the verb give. يعني هنا معنى الphrasal verb الفعل المركب يخالف معنى الفعل الأصلي. Okay, we have the verb gave, past of give. The verb give or gave بمعنى يعطي. And when we add the preposition up, give up, it means يقلع or stop. بمعنى يقلع عن التدخين or stop smoking. Go to the workbook. We have another note about phrasal verbs. The note said, with some phrasal verbs, noun objects can come before or after the preposition. Noun object اللي هو اسم المفعول. اسم المفعول يأتي قبل أو بعد الحرف الجر preposition. For example, turn off the light. You can say turn off the light. Here the light الضوء هو noun object هو المفعول به. يأتي it can be after the preposition بعد حرف الجر or before the preposition أو قبل حرف الجر off. So you can say turn off the light or turn the light off if it's a noun object. With phrasal verbs, pronoun objects must come before the preposition. إذا كان هو ضمير يعني ضمير مفعول it must come before the preposition يعني يأتي قبل ما فيش خيار تاني ضروري نحطوه قبل الحرف الجر before the preposition. You have to say turn it off. Turn it off. Here it is a pronoun object. You have to put it before the preposition off قبل حرف الجر off. You cannot say turn off it. You have to say turn it off. And now we will practice this step. In section B, write the sentences putting the verbs and objects in the correct order. Where two answers are possible, write them both. يعني إذا كان عندنا إجابتين صحيحة حنكتبون الاثنين. أمتى عندنا إجابتين أو أمتى عندنا خيارين لما يكون الأوبجكت المفعول به اسم. For example, can you turn on the television? عندنا هنا مفعول به اسم. The television noun object. So you can put it after the preposition بعد حرف الجر أو قبل حرف الجر before the preposition. So you can say can you turn on the television or can you turn the television on? Here the television is after the preposition and here is before the preposition on. Number 2. I have already turned on it. So here the object is object pronoun يعني ضمير مفعول, and we have one choice is to put it before the preposition. عندنا خيار واحد وهو أن نحطوه قبل حرف الجر, يعني between the verb and the preposition in the phrasal verb. I have already turned it on. The next examples: smoking is terrible. You should give up it. Here the object is pronoun or object pronoun. المفعول به ضمير. And you have to put it, you have one choice and you have to put it before the preposition. قبل حرف الجر. Smoking is terrible. You should give it up. Number 4. When did you take up stamp collecting? Stamp collecting, here's the object. مفعول به عندنا اسم stamp. So you have to put it, we have two choices. You can put it after the preposition up بعد حرف الجر أو قبل حرف الجر up. You can say when did you take up stamp collecting, or when did you take stamp collecting up. The second examples: I can't remember when I took up it. So here the object is pronoun. Object pronoun, you have to put it before the preposition. So you have to say I can't remember when I took it up. Here it as an object pronoun, you have to put it between the verb and the preposition. Number 6. I like these shoes. Can I turn on them? Them, here's an object pronoun يعني ضمير مفعول. You have to put it before the preposition. نحطوه وين؟ قبل حرف الجر. You have to say can I turn them on? Next examples: can you turn down the music? The music here is the object مفعول به اسم. You can put it, you have two choices. You can put it before the preposition down or after the preposition. You can say can you turn down the music, or can you turn the music down, because it's noun object. The last example: I'll turn down it in a minute. Here we have the object it, object pronoun, and we have one choice is to put it before the preposition. You have to say I'll turn it down in a minute. In vocabulary tip 2, prefixes mean not. What do we mean by prefixes? Are group of letters added to the beginning of a word to make a new word. اللي هن البدايات نضيفوهن إلى بداية الكلمة. group of letters حروف نضيفوهن لبداية الكلمة لتكوين كلمة جديدة. And we have to study a prefixes which means not. يعني اللي حنقروهن in our lesson today هن prefixes means not. يعني يعطينا ال opposite of the word or the adjectives. To form the opposite of some adjectives we can put the prefix an in front of them. يعني نكونوا العكس أو عكس الصفة بوضع البريفكس اللي هو البداية an un in front of them. For example, unhappy is the opposite of happy. We add the prefix an. Unpopular is the opposite of popular. And unintelligent is the opposite of intelligent. The prefixes in, m, l, or er can also form the opposite. يعني عندنا هنا بدايات أخرى تعطينا عكس الصفة أو عكس الكلمة اللي هن in, in, m, l, r. For example, inexpensive, opposite of expensive. Impossible or impossible, opposite of possible. Illegal, opposite of legal. And irregular, opposite of regular. How can we add these prefixes? The prefix an can go in front of any letter. يعني an يضاف إلى أي حرف. The prefix m can only go in front of m or p letters. يعني هنا m يضاف إلى الكلمات التي تبدأ بحرف الام أو حرف p. But an يضاف إلى أي كلمة. For example, an it can be added to helpful or realistic, unhelpful and unrealistic. M added to the word proper, improper, opposite of proper, improper. And opposite of polite, impolite, added to the word start with P letter. The prefix L can only go in front of L. يعني البريفكس L بداية L نضيفها للكلمات التي تبدأ بحرف L. The prefix R can only go in front of R. يعني R نضيفها للكلمات التي تبدأ بحرف R. For example, illiterate and irreplaceable. We add the prefix L to the word literate اللي هو المثقف، عكسها illiterate. And replaceable, we start with R, we add the prefix IR, irreplaceable. And here we have some examples, and you have to add prefixes to these words to make an opposite. هنا عندنا أمثلة حنضيف البدايات لتكوين opposites or عكس الكلمة. Number 1, correct. The prefix is in, incorrect. Number 2, moral. The prefix is im, immoral, because it starts with the letter M. Number 3, fair. The prefix is unfair. Number 4, efficient. The prefix is inefficient. Number 5, fortunate. The prefix is unfortunate. Number 6, patient. The prefix is im, because it starts with P, impatient. Number 7, usual. The prefix is unusual. Number 8, polite. The prefix is impolite. Number 9, healthy. The prefix is unhealthy. Number 10, dependent. The prefix is independent. Number 11, convenient. The prefix is inconvenient. The last one, pleasant. The prefix is unpleasant. And that's all for today. Hope you understand the lesson. وفقكم الله، مع تحياتي معلمتكم سرور الكرزاب.